Ivan Hayden, Visual Effects Supervisor, Supernatural. The Visual Effects Supervisor is there to help the producers and directors design and come up with the best, safest, and most efficient way to shoot the visual effects, and then make sure that everything is shot in such a way that we can have the most lateral motion in post. We have to do a new ghost or monster or creature every episode, and we have to come up with a way of getting the writer's vision that is different than we've seen every other time. For example, every time we do this show, there's a new monster that dies, and we don't want them all to go in the same way. Vampires in our show don't turn into bats and fly away. So we have to come up with a look for a monster that sticks with the vein of the show. And although we do look at what has been done in the past, we also try and put our own fingerprint on it to give it our own look. And technology has gotten a lot better, so we can attempt to do things that they couldn't do in the past. This show is more about the acting and the relationships between the two brothers and how they grow. And the supernatural is sort of the engine that takes it. It shouldn't overpower what the boys are doing and what the boys are becoming. So our effects are there to enhance the danger and the drama, but not to detract from the wonderful acting that both Jared and Jensen do on every episode. Every episode that we look at, there are the effects that we planned on doing, and then we look at the show and we look at the cuts around what we're doing, and sometimes we'll say, hey, you know what, it would be really cool if we made that guy's hand twitch. You know, he's a dead corpse and he's just laying there, but sort of in the background, wouldn't it be neat if his finger was twitching a little bit? One of the scenes that we have is a woman who's in her hotel room, and the invisible dog claws her pants off and cuts into her leg, and she's bleeding all over the place. And what we did is special effects tore the pants, special effects makeup put the application on the leg. It can't be done without everybody. I mean, every single person on the show makes every effect work. Every single episode, we have to do something else, and it's like playing. It's, every day it's like being a kid. You get to pretend. You're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the werewolf and its mouth sort of went this way? It's a lot of fun.
Old school haunted houses, secret passageways, fog. Might even run into Fred and Daphne while we're inside. Daphne.
I definitely set out to do a horror movie. A TV series that kind of caught the vibe of The Ring and The Grudge.
Yeah, like strange.
It's one of the rules of the show is that we don't invent anything. Every story we tell in every episode is based on like a real piece of folklore.
There's 100 different legends on The Walking Dead, but they all have different methods for killing them. Some say setting them on fire, feeding their hearts to wild dogs. That's my personal favorite.
Action! That showed up on the first day of work with like 80 of these just little one-liners of what episodes could be, just pulled from just this real-life folklore across the country, like killer clowns and arm ripped off, and all these...
The licked hand.
Yeah, the licked hand.
That's one of my favorites.
That's a fun show to work on because you don't sit around like banging your head against a wall, you just start doing research. And the homework is cool, all the ghost stories and stuff.
It's an invisible killer.
My favorite kind. What do you think, Scully? Want to check it out?
I'm not Scully, you're Scully.
No, I'm Mulder. You're a redheaded woman.
We'll pull from old and new horror movies that we love and scenes that we knew, and that'll be a seed for an episode, and then we'll start kicking it around and what the Winchester version of it is.
We can't stay here. We gotta get out of here somewhere. Let people know what's coming.
Yeah, that's a good point. Night of the Living Dead didn't exactly end pretty.
We're going to take vampires and do what other movies and shows have done with vampires. We were working on a werewolf idea, and it's how is it ours? What's different about it? What makes it a supernatural monster, not one you would see on something else? So they all have their origins in real lore, but then we run with it.
157 names?
We gotta narrow that down,
Yeah.
or else we're gonna be digging up a hell of a lot of stiffs.
Herman Webster Mudgett? Wasn't that H.H. Holmes' real name?
The term multi-murderer, they coined it to describe Holmes. He was America's first serial killer.
What's great about these urban legends is they're all designed to have like these shocking twists at the end.
The escape psychotic with the hook for a hand. I just love that.
You know, where the boyfriend disappears and the girl's in the car and she hears the scratching on the roof of the car and she's all freaked out and then she finally escapes the car and turns around and the boyfriend's hanging upside down dead, scratching against the car.
And we actually turned that into an episode, which I was really happy about. That's a classic.
Bloody Mary, for me, like, always scared the crap out of me. You'd go in the bathroom and turn out the lights, say Bloody Mary in the mirror, and she'd claws your eyes out. For my money, that episode was really scary. It's like a gross joke, basically. It's the same pattern. It's set up and then punchline. And that really lends itself dramatically, you know, to a really satisfying show because you get to have these fun little twists that are like gross or shocking or scary or disturbing, and it really works out well.
I'd say we've officially crossed over into weird.
Here we go. And action.
We're telling episodes this season that are philosophical, wildly structured, and we're telling episodes that are going to be just straight comedies.
Awesome.
You know, one episode can be angsty, the next can be scary as hell, the other one can be funny, the other one can be a romance, and you can just keep hopscotching in genres and form.
Los Angeles, California.
What's in L.A.?
Young girl's been kidnapped by an evil cult.
Yeah? Girl got a name?
Katie Holmes.
Once we sort of settle on what the monster is or the creature or the spirit.
I think I know what we're dealing with here. It's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Beyond that, what's the story about?
Right.
And what is the personal story about, and how does this spirit, creature, monster affect our boys? So we always try to make the stories a little deeper.
I'm one of them.
No, you're not.
Dean, the demon said he had plans for me and children like me.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe this is his plan. Maybe we're all a bunch of psychic freaks. Maybe we're all supposed to be...
What, killers?
Yeah.
So the demon wants you out there killing with your minds, is that it? Well, give me a break. You're not a murderer, Sam. You don't have it in your bones.
No. Last I checked, I kill all kinds of things.
And those things were asking for it. It's a difference.
You have a show that's about like good and evil and faith and destiny and life and death. And it's like the real big issues. The show's core is sort of the emotion of the brothers. And you know, what we always say in the writer's room is, you know, everything is family. Whenever we're in a dead end or we can't figure out, we're like, okay, well, it's a family show. What's the family version of this and how to make that work?
Before Dad died, he told me something. Something about you.
What? Dean, what did he tell you?
He said that he wanted me to watch out for you. Take care of you.
He told you that a million times.
No, this time was different. He said that I had to save you.
Save me from what?
He just said that I had to save you. That nothing else mattered. And that if I couldn't,
You'd what, Dean?
I'd have to kill you.
Most our shows have a 7-day prep, but this show can't handle a 7-day prep. If they're not prepping before 7 days, we're in trouble because of all the visual effects and special effects. We're building new sets every week. We don't have any permanent sets, so they at least have to get the story way, way in advance.
So, I mean, we lock in every big move and every creature and every stunt and all the things that, you know, we need to get rolling on, because each one's like a new deal every time.
Okay.
And that's hard. I mean, because that takes, like, you know, research and development from the effects guys and what's it going to look like and how are they going to make that work. And, you know, everyone just, you know, just busts their ass just trying to get that done every week.
Get down!
I do sometimes read the fan stuff, and when people say, oh, that was so scary, or that clown was terrifying, I get a kick out of it. It's great. It's exciting to you know, leave people with images that stick with them. It's a way to have a roller coaster ride and survive it.
That's how things roll around here at Supernatural.
Our lives are weird, man.
You telling me?
My name's Christopher Cooper. I'm the props master for Supernatural. The property master and the props department deal with everything the actors hold, touch, or accessorized by. Whether they're drinking, firing guns, playing with knives, or fighting evil. All the toys, really. Supernatural totally rules.
That's holy water, you demonic son of a...
The stuff we get to do, the stuff we get to create, killing vampires and zombies and shapeshifters. We got all sorts of cool toys. The urban tales all go back for hundreds of years, and all that mythology definitely has its rules. And, you know, we develop our own rules as we go along to deal with our vampires or shapeshifters. There's the aesthetic element, of course, and then there's the practical form follows function element to make it work. And of course, it has to look cool. That's one of the most important parts. You always want to do something new. You want whatever it is that you create to be new and unique, but at the same time, it has to fit into the lore. You know, it has to make sense to whoever's watching that, yeah, that's gonna work. It's a shapeshifter, you gotta have a silver knife for that. This is Dean Winchester's favorite gun. This is the Colt 1911. Here we have Sam Winchester's favorite gun. This is a Taurus PT-99. They specifically shoot blanks. They can't shoot real bullets, of course. If we're firing the guns, we always have a couple of them on hand in case a gun jams or something like that. And then we have rubber versions. If there's a fight, guys are getting banged around, you might as well be using rubber guns. We do a lot of retractable versions of knives and spears. Stab your zombie and away you go. We do a lot of blood knives where there's a reservoir in the actor's hand, and as they draw the knife across the arm, the blood comes out, so it looks like the knife is cutting. Every good hunter needs an EMF detector, electromagnetic frequency detector. We've also got the alien probe here. And I'll just leave that one alone. Jensen and Jared are phenomenal guys to work with. They're into doing absolutely everything. The producers, the director, the production designer, our art department is absolutely amazing what they can do and what they create, because they help design these things and then, you know, I make them come to life.